amores, te vengo a cantar mi copla. Ando llena de ilusiones y quiero besar tu boca. Quiero decirte cositas que traigo dentro del alma, pero como son bonitas, quiero decirlas con calma. Yo no sé si vengas tú, yo no sé si vaya yo, pero has de sentir mis besos y yo he de sentir los tuyos. Hemos de quedarnos presos a la luz de los cocuyos. Te quiero mirar bonita, sin penas y sin orgullos, y quiero echarme en tus brazos a la luz de los cocuyos. ¿Cuántas noches de tu vida habrás pasado conmigo, contando las estrellitas y solo Dios te testigo? Siempre con la cara al cielo, cobijados por la luna, contando las estrellitas, decirles una por una. Yo no sé si vengas tú, yo no sé si vaya yo, pero has de sentir mis besos y yo he de sentir los tuyos. Hemos de quedarnos presos a la luz de los cocuyos. Te quiero mirar bonita, sin penas y sin orgullos, y quiero echarme en tus brazos a la luz de los cocuyos. De los cocuyos.
Hello and welcome to this year's 2021 Mariachi Espectacular de Albuquerque Virtual Violin Clinic. My name is Orlando de Leon. I am from Edinburgh, Texas. I play with Mariachi Aslan, and let's meet the rest of our team today.
Hello, my name is Jose Santiago. I am originally from here in Albuquerque, New Mexico. I've been a professional mariachi here in this region for 39 years.
Hi, my name is Monica Trujillo, and I'm also from here in Albuquerque, New Mexico. I play locally with Mariachi Tenampa, and I also play with Mariachi Mujer 2000.
Hola, mi nombre es Juan Manuel Regalado Anaya, soy originario de la ciudad de Chihuahua, Chihuahua, y toco en el Mariachi Internacional del Real de la ciudad.
Hi, my name is Elizabeth Mendez. I'm from El Paso, Texas, and I used to play with Mariachi Reina de Los Ángeles.
Hi, saludos. My name is Álvaro Paulino Jr. from the New York City Mariachi Conservatory, Mariachi Tapatío.
We're very, very happy to be here with all of you students, and we're very excited to share our knowledge with all of you. We miss everybody. We understand that this year is a little different than most, but we hope that you still benefit and take the most you can from these virtual clinics. Let's get started. Our first person to take care of the first section will be the beginner section with Mr. Álvaro Paulino. So without further ado, let's get started.
So something very, very important to, once you get a piece of music, the key signature, right? In this case, the key signature is C, which means, what does that mean, right? No sharps, no flats, which is pretty basic. You know, I hope everybody has learned the C major scale, C key signature, which is the first one everybody should learn, because we do have multiple key signatures, majors and minors, right? So in this case, it's C major. We also, what I like to do, besides the key signature, also focus on the time signature. You know, we might have 4 4s, 3 4s, 2 4s. Remember, once again, it's a wapangos, so wapangos will be in 3 4, sometimes alternating with 6 8, right? So you want to make sure you have your count 1 2 3 1 2 3, or your 1 2 3 4 5 6 1 2 3 4 5 6. Something I like to do as well with the numbers on the measures. Some people like to number them every 5, every 10. I know in this particular piece of music, on this arrangement by Rigoberto Alfaro, I don't know who transcribed it, but they did a good job. But what I like to do is to add some numbers on the measures, and I personally like to number each line. So if you have your piece of music printed out, you want to go ahead and get a pencil and write down the measure numbers. The pick a measure, we don't count that one, you know. The one after that would be the 1. The second line will be a 7. Third line will be a 22. The fourth line will be a 31. Next one, 39, 46, 55, 63. Normally, whatever software you're using, normally you can do that automatically. But sometimes, as a transcriber or arranger, we might be caught up in other things. You know, remember, it's a reference. So these measure numbers are very important, along with the section numbers as well, because it's a good way and an easy way for us to communicate at a musical level, you know. Just, hey, pick it up from measure 7, measure 10, and so on, okay? So let's talk about the map here, okay? We start on measure 1 with the pickup, measure 1. We go straight through. We go into section 1, section 2, section 3, section 4, section 5, okay? And then we get to measure 55, 56, 57, which is the first repeat, okay? That first repeat will lead us into the second music, la segunda música, right, which is the repeat sign. Open repeats over here in measure 1. Okay, so once we play this first repeat, we go back up here. We continue, repeat the same thing, section 1, section 2, we continue, section 3, section 4, section 5, and then when we get to measure 56, we jump into the second repeat. Okay, after that, we just play the finale, right? So we have 63, 64, 65, 66, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 68 measures. Okay, so the mapping is pretty basic. You know, we do have other pieces that might have the capo, del segno, but we don't have to worry about that in this particular workshop, okay, because we don't have it in this particular song. So yeah, you know, so enjoy, guys, and I hope this was pretty clear for you, pretty brief, and straight to the point.
Hello. Before we start the song today, I'd like to discuss something very important, and this is aimed more in particular to the beginning level students. And I'm here to discuss proper posture, proper form, and setup of your instrument, and how we do that. So first of all, our stance is very important. It's very important that you stand properly and correctly, back straight, feet shoulder width apart. We'll bring up our violin. It's okay to have one foot in front of the other. Whether you use a shoulder rest or not, that's personal. But it's very important that you have the proper setup with your shoulder rest and your chin rest on your instrument. And you can get some assistance from your director or from your private teacher for that. The other thing is the posture. We want to make sure that our instrument is parallel to the ground. We don't want to see this. We don't want to see this. Okay? From the front, you want to bring it up high in your shoulder. We don't want to see this. Okay? We often see that in a lot of classes, and it makes it very difficult to do certain things. So make sure the adjustment of the shoulder rest and the chin rest are proper for you. And again, that's personal. Make sure your instrument is held high up on the shoulder. Instrument is parallel to the ground. And you're looking down the fingerboard as we play. Again, legs spread apart. Okay, this is what it should look like. Also, with the right hand, it's very important that you grip the bow correctly. I believe what most of us are taught is what's referred to as the Russian hold. And it's similar to this here. The control comes from this pinky and your index finger, and how we balance that bow and regulate the pressure as we're playing. So keep that in mind as we're playing. And again, you want to look proper on stage, and this starts from how you rehearse at home. Practice in front of a mirror. It's a great technique or record yourself on a video. That's also another great idea. And you want to be sure and have at all times proper posture. Thank you.
All All right, so to elaborate on the proper position, the next thing I'm going to address before I get into the scale is the left hand finger patterns. So since this key is in C major, we will, on the G string, our finger pattern is going to be as follows. That's pretty standard when we first learn violin songs to use this finger pattern where our 1 and 2 are a whole step apart and 2 and 3 are a half step apart. Now on the D string, it's going to change a little bit because we don't have an F sharp. So our 2 is going to be low, and it'll be touching our first finger. On the A string, same thing. Now on the E string, it's going to change it up a little more. Our 1's going to be low, so it's going to be really close to what we call the nut, right by the scroll. So right here, our 1's going to be low, our 2's going to be a whole step away from that, and our 3's going to be a whole step away from that. So with that in mind, let's start with the C major scale. We're going to do 2 octaves. If you're not used to third position, that's okay. You can stay in the first octave and play it twice. But I have it written out. If you can see here on the whiteboard, I have a C major scale written out. I've only written it going up. We're going to play that for you together. And while we play it, I want you to think about, we're not going to do fancy vibrato. It's going to be whole bows, so that means from the frog all the way to the tip. I want you to use every piece of that hair on your bow. We're going to try and get the fullest sound out of your violin, which is how scales should be practiced all the time. And I'm going to give an example. So when I put my bow on the string, I'm going to make sure the bow hair is flat on the string. It's not going to be tilted away from me or towards me. I'm going to utilize that hair to the fullest. So if I play an open G, I'm going to start at the frog, and this is what I see most common, right here. That's not at the frog. This is your frog. Let's start right there next to the metal. And we're going to pull the sound out of your violin and play all the way to the tip. So right before we get started, when you start, you're going to bend your elbow first and your shoulder when you're at the frog. As you draw your bow out, your shoulder moves until you get to about a 90-degree angle in your right elbow. Then only your elbow moves, so this top part of your arm should stay still. Okay, let's try that together. Ready? C major, 2 octave scale. We're going to take it kind of slow. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we're going to play that same scale going down. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. As far as the scale goes is when you're changing positions, and this will help you in this piece as we learn it, is when you're on the G string, your left elbow should be pulled toward you. That helps your hand reach all the notes you need to on the G. But as you change strings, your elbow moves away. It kind of swings away from you. So when we start the C major scale, we're here. As we go up here and up into third position, our elbow moves back the other way.
I want to go ahead and just add one thing to what Ms. Monica was saying, and this is something that a lot of students do actually. So, hello again. My name is Orlando, and one thing that I really, really want to make sure that kids do is that when you're shifting, one thing that kids do a lot is they really, really put a lot of pressure on the fingerboard. So here's like a little neat trick you can do. My teacher, when I was younger, she taught me a little trick. You can get like a sheet of paper and put it under the fingerboard like this. Or you put it over the strings. Doesn't really matter. Put my bow here. And you can just practice sliding around with it like this. And that replicates the same movement for shifting. We don't really have it pressed down like this, clenching on the fingerboard. It should be just very, very relaxed. So just like Monica was saying, when you're shifting, make sure it's very, very, very relaxed so you don't really hear a very, a harsh, nasty sound. Want to have a very, very smooth connection and change between positions and your shifts, okay? Thank you. Moving on to the next section. And that is me. So, excuse me. So, let's talk briefly before we get into the song. We have a lot of, when you're playing the violin, we have first position, we have second position, third, fourth, etc. One thing that I like to tell students is make sure you understand the patterns, and I actually use like a little system. So whenever you have second and third finger, we call that a major finger pattern. So whenever I tell kids, hey guys, make sure you're doing a major finger pattern, that they know that's 2 and 3 are together. Whenever I say minor finger pattern, it's 1 and 2 that are together, it's like this. So whenever I say minor, like, okay, the sir means first and second together. So major, again, second and third are together. Minor is 1 and 2 is together. I also use one called augmented, like to increase. Third and fourth are together. So a cool little trick, I know a lot of students use, when they're beginning, they use tapes. They have like the first tape here, second, third, fourth, etc. I always tell them, whenever you have your first finger on your first tape, that's first position. If you put your first finger on the second tape, second position. Okay. On the third tape, that would be third position. On the fourth tape, fourth position. If you were to go to the next note, that would be fifth position, and etc. So on this song, we are going to exercise a few positions, and don't worry if you don't understand some of the the crazy upper register. Don't freak out. I understand we have probably all levels in this virtual clinic. So just give it a few years. Listen to your teacher, and slowly but surely you'll be getting there. So in this song, we are going to go all the way to like sixth position, and we're going to cover those with the song. Okay. Thank you very much.
Part one. Okay, I'm here to talk to you a little bit about bow control and slurs. This can be very confusing to some students when they're starting out. And in this particular song that we're teaching today, there are many slurs. Basically what a slur is several notes within a bow stroke. And I'll just give you an example with a scale, where I'm doing maybe 2 notes per slur. Okay, and sometimes there are more notes than 2. Sometimes it's 3 or 4. So that's what a slur is. And the way that is indicated on the music is a line on top of 2 notes or more. So keep that in mind. Also, bow control, very important. Oftentimes we don't stress enough how important the right hand is to the sound and the production of your instrument. But we need to be aware of that at all times. Remember that bow control is where your sound comes from. You want a good tone, it's all in the right hand. We want to be aware of how fast we play a passage, how much pressure we're playing on that particular passage, so that we get the most sound out of the violin. I'm going to give you an example of maybe something that's not so desirable, okay? This is playing with too much pressure and not enough speed. Okay, and I'm exaggerating that so you can hear it. A simple fix for that is relax the pressure and more movement. You can see that the sound just comes out of the instrument, okay? So keep that in mind. Again, as Monica was referring to, we want to play on the hair. A little tilt to this side as you're up on the upper position is normal, okay? As you're going down, that's probably going to lessen and you're going to be playing more flat on the hair. But you really don't want to play like this, and certainly not like this, okay? So bow control, practice that. Again, you can use the same technique in front of a mirror, assuming the mirror is here. I used to do this 15-20 minutes with Maestro when I was first learning, and it helped me a lot. So as we're playing the song and these passages to the song that we're learning today, notice how we're playing the parts, and visually look at that and put that into practice for your own rehearsal.
Awesome. We're going to go on to the actual song itself. So, well, if you can open up your music to A la luz de los cocuyos. We're going to go in little sections. So I'll be doing the opening line. So if you look at your music, guys, from measure 1 all the way to box 1, that's going to be the whole introduction, and we'll be doing parts. And all of us will be working and collaborating together to show you guys each and every part. And normally I would say if you have any questions, please raise your hand and let us know. But we're going to try our very best here to. Can we go ahead and play for them the opening line? Taka taka dum bum bum. Here we go. This is the introduction. I'll give you 2 beats, guys, and just go ahead and listen to the music. We'll go over the fingerings and such in a little bit. Okay, so let's get down and dirty with the positions and the fingerings and all that stuff. So at the very beginning, we're going to start in first position. Now, like Ms. Trujillo was saying, we do start in first position, and the finger pattern is going to be a low F natural on the E string. So we're going to start with the scale. Sol, fa, mi, re, do, G, F, E, D, C. So we're going to start, we're going to have the first 2 beats as rest. We're going to have 1, 2. Alvaro mentioned, a 3, 4. The time signature, so those are very, very important to keep in mind when you're learning pieces of music. So we know we have 3 beats here. So the first 2 will be rest, 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 taka, taka, dum. So it's going to be 3 and a 1. If we move on to the next measure, we're going to have 1 and 2, and that's just the rhythm aspect. So if you guys don't understand how to count and basic rhythms like that, please make sure you ask your teachers when you go back to school. But I'm going to go actually demonstrate some of this stuff on the board. So, can I have an eraser to erase some of this? It's already being used. Oh, no. We're having some technical difficulties here. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you so much. All right, moving on. So we are in 3/4. I don't know if the camera can see that. I'll use a darker. Try. We are in 3. Is that better? Mm-hmm. Awesome. So we do have that 3 and then we have these 2. I know maybe not everyone has a teacher to ask this basic information to, but I'm going to go ahead and just illustrate it right now. We have this right here, and there is a tie here. What is that? Half of? Great. Now, guys, for those of you asking, what is he talking about? Tie? What is all this stuff? So basically, whenever you have the same note here, in this case it's an A. Some of you will have it in the bottom, open A. Some will have it on the top. Whenever they are the same note, they're a tie. Whenever it's different notes, those are called slurs. So anyways, moving on. So here we have 3 E and 1 and 2, and it's going to extend out all the way to there. So for the first section, I'll go ahead and demonstrate it again. We're going to have. Now, if you pay attention, I'm not in terms of style. It's not a bolero, so I'm not going to really do it. It's very lovey-dovey. It's a little more aggressive. Now, actually, here on the 8th notes, I'm doing a little disconnected. You got to get a little more aggressive on the lower half of the bow. And then after that, we're going to have that little quarter note. Now, if you remember carefully, like Alvaro was saying, pay attention to this guy, because this guy's telling you we have 2 instructions. The number on top tells you the beats per measure. I was going to say like mouse per hour. No, it's beats per measure. So every measure, like every little box will have 3 beats. Okay? And the number on the bottom will tell you which kind of note will get the beat. In this case, it'll be the quarter note, 4. If it was 8, like when you have 6, 8 times, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, the 8th note gets the beat. But in this case, we're going to keep it simple. The quarter note gets the beat. So here, we're going to be on, this is going to be beat 3, continuations. We're going to have 1, 2, 3, and a 1, and 2, 3, and then we're going to have another set of 16ths, yeah. 1 E and a. Let me go ahead and demonstrate that part for you guys. So we're going to have Now on this, I know we don't have the music on the screen, and maybe it's possible to be really cool, but if you look at the music on measure 1, 2, on measure 3, right on the downbeat, we're going to shift up. So we're going to have, to get that upper C natural, I'm going to shift to third position. Now remember, third position is going to be first finger on, normally where the third tape would be, or the third note. So we're going to have A first finger, B, C natural, that would be a major finger pattern, as I mentioned before. 2 and 3 are together. We're going to shift there. Okay, and then we're going to go ahead and take a little bow lift after that. So the whole intro, 1, 2, 1, 2. Lift. The next section, they're all just eighth notes, but just in case you don't know how to count those, well, every measure will be just as 1 and 2 and 3 and every measure will be just like that. This little symbol just means repeat the same as the previous measure. So that next measure, let's get down to the fun stuff. So let's talk about 1, 2, 3, 4, measure 5. We're gonna have, now as we're climbing up, we're gonna be shifting up in position. I did come back down to first position. Remember we climbed up to third? And then I'm gonna go ahead and do a lift. So a bow lift, the sign that we do, the symbol we use is like a little apostrophe, like this. Ah, so satisfying. It's a little apostrophe. So the little apostrophe we use, we're gonna do it after that D on top. Lift, and then we're gonna go ahead and go back to first position. We're gonna go ahead and climb back up to that first finger A. So we're gonna have. Now before I go on to the actual notes, guys, if you look at the pattern here, they're all slurred in threes. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. It's more like a duple feel. And what I mean by duple, like in twos. Normally we have in 3/4 time, we have 1, 2, 3, but in this case we have more of a 6/8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2. You feel the twos? 1, 2 versus 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So here, you want to make sure you really, really take advantage of that and give it that little feel. Okay, so let's get to the fingerings. We're going to have the first measure in first position. Shift on the A. After that, we're going to go on to the next part. That will all be in third position, guys. All of it. So let's try it together. Can we try that together, guys? The first two bars. Here we go. And 1, 2, 3. Just up to there, just the first two bars. Again, ready? 1, 2. Okay, now cool. Now the next part, we're going to start measure 3 of that section, which is bar 7. We're going to start in third as well. And the fingering. One thing you want to keep in mind, guys, I'm pretty sure my compañeros here, they all have different ways to achieve the same goal. There are many different ways to get there, guys. However, I'm just going to show you one fingering that works for me. So doesn't mean that it's right, doesn't mean that it's wrong either. So if you have other people that tell you know what, I shift in third position, I stay there, so it's a little more comfortable. It doesn't mean that they're right or wrong. So the one that I use, guys, is I'm going to go to third position. Starting there, we're going to start in that C natural. I'm a little sneaky. I'm going to use that A to B, and I'm going to go ahead and slide up and sneak my way into fourth position there. So I don't know if I can. Wait, let me see. I'll show you guys on the board. We don't have an eraser that we can.
No, but I flipped it and I erased the other side.
Okay, awesome. So eventually we're going to need a little eraser. Is that this one?
While they get that ready, I want to bring this to your attention. I know if you have violin 1, you already have the written measure numbers there. Violin 2,
Thank you.
we're missing them there, and violin 3, that's why I wrote mine, so I was missing them. So sometimes, like I said, you might have the transcription ready with all the measure numbers. Sometimes you may not, but just takes a few minutes just to write them down, okay? So yeah.
Awesome. I'm going to go ahead and just show you, I know we have a little bit of time, measure 7, but not too much time either, so I'll show you very, very, very quickly. I'm not an artist, please don't judge my lines.
It's pretty straight to me.
Okay, so we have C, D, and then it's la, ¿verdad? La sido?
Yeah.
La sido. So this is what I'm talking about, guys. There are groupings of 2, but here's the weird part. They're in slurs of 3, right? So we have that 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. The fingering that I'm suggesting to you guys is we are starting in 3rd position here. Position. 3, 4, 3. And this is my little sneaky finger. I'm using first finger on the A, just like first position. Can the camera see that? Okay, awesome. And then I'm shifting here to first finger, and that puts me in 4th position. And I'm going to use that, and I'm switching over to that position, so that, for the comfort. And really, I'm staying on the E string because it sounds very, very bright there. If I continue on, just to finish off this little phrase.
He's not an artist.
Sorry, guys. I'm very sorry.
It looks pretty perfect.
You know what? I think we should get a raise. Re, mi, re. ¿Qué es lo demás? Re, mi, re. Do, re, mi, fa. Do, re, mi, sol. Do, re, mi. Sol. Sol. Right there. So these are groupings of 3, 3. Okay, so once moving into 4th position, we have this right here, right? So that means, and 4th position, guys, really up, down there. It's like a replica of being in 1st position. So first finger B, 2nd finger. This is, I'm going to put a -2. It's a low 2nd. 3, 4, 3. And then we're going to have 2, 3. And what I would do here, I would shift on this E and then get that G on top with 3rd finger. Okay, so I'll demonstrate that for you guys now. So from the beginning, then let me do it a little slower for you guys. So we're gonna have. And I made one mistake, guys. I'm very sorry about that. I know that these are separate. Sorry, guys. So those are, and it's going to be up, do, re, mi, sol, up, and then down. And that long G, make sure you do sustain it for a good 2 measures, right?
6 plus an 8th note.
Okay. All right. Well, let's see. I think that's good. You guys get the point. So now. Remember, I know you're probably, maybe some of you guys are like, oh, that's easy, sir. Maybe some of you guys are overwhelmed. But now, as a section, we're going to show you that entire phrase from the la, si, da, ba, da, da, dum. Here we go. Let's try from that little section to the end. Here we go. And, do. 2, 2, 3, Okay, so we're going to try from the very beginning, that whole introduction, and that'll conclude my portion. Okay, here we go, from the very beginning, guys. Beginning. And. Dos. And up. 2, 3, 2, 2, 2. Thank you very much. We'll move on to the next section. Thank you.
Okay, just one little thing.
Those of you who are playing first and second, that's great, great fingerings. Those of you who are playing third, it's actually just an octave lower, okay? And of course, the pickups in the beginning, it is a little different. Because for third, just one part. In the beginning, for third violins, you go up scale. Like a scale. Okay? And of course, the other part is just an octave lower. Alright, so, of course, from box 1 to box 2, you rest for 8 measures. Then you come to box 2. So, in box 2, what you want to do is have a good detachable, meaning have good contact with your bow on your string, because you want to use all your bow for your half notes. Okay? So, for first and second violin players, you might want to start in third position. Okay? And remember, as they were talking about their fingerings, right? Major. So when you're in third position, your first fingers where your third finger was at, okay? And so you're going to start with your third finger. So you're going to go like this. Right across the string. A, E, okay? So you do this. So first finger. And then you go pinky. And pinky again. Second finger. First finger. And then there, right where Mr. Orlando was saying, where he shifts to fourth position, that's where you shift to fourth position. So let me play that one more time. So you're in third this whole time. Now shift to fourth. Fourth is, of course, where your fourth finger is at, right? And what would you call this? As you said?
The pinky?
No, your this.
The finger pattern. The finger pattern, well, remember, so second and third is major, and whenever we have first and second together, I call it minor.
Minor.
Yeah.
So then you shift to your minor key, okay?
I'll actually put this on the board for us.
Yes, please. Okay, one more time, okay? So, like this. Shift to fourth. And then there, I don't know, preference if you want to stay in position or if you want to shift back down to first position. Correct? Okay, so would you like to play with me on that?
Sure. We can all actually play.
Actually, all of us. Okay, this is mainly for first and second violin players. Third violin players, you guys are playing an octave lower. Okay, no shifting for us, except once we get to, I would say, 2 measures before box B, 3 measures before box B. That's when we split into, parts. All right. So
before we do try it, Liz, I want to make sure that our audience that is watching, that you do understand the rhythm. Some of them, it does look a little complicated with all the ties that we have here. Just remember, everything is just 2 beats each. Fa, do, la, G, D, B. So just make sure that you're doing those in 2 beats. We'll do it slow for you guys.
And if you're listening to the rhythm, that'll support that feeling.
Right. Always listen to your harmonias. Here we go. From section 2, guys, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 1, go. So, and for the golpes, right there at the very end, make sure that, obviously you don't want to do the 2 golpes on down here, up here. It would be very, very, very weak. So you want to make sure you really relocate to the front. Okay, awesome. Liz, anything else you want to add?
no, that's perfect. Thank you for explaining.
Awesome. Well, next section.
Ok, muy bien. Me gustaría que nos situáramos 2 compases antes del número 3, exactamente es donde terminamos esa parte. La parte de los tostones. Hay que ir anticipando la voz para poder entrar al siguiente número, al número 3. En cuanto damos mi, yo no sé si vengas tú, en el tú es donde entramos exactamente en el número 3. Y es donde empezamos a contar 2 compases. Un, dos. Yo no sé si vengas tú, yo no sé si vaya yo. En el yo contamos 2 tiempos. Yo, re, mi, fa, sol, fa, re, la, fa, do, la, re. Es donde entramos para ese adorno. El que sigue, seguimos el re 3 tiempos y el la. Me gustaría que mis compañeros me ayudaran un poco para ver, tenemos un efecto también. Después del yo, entramos... hay que empezar fuerte y en el fa exactamente hacemos un piano, ¿sí? Un piano y vamos creciendo hasta el re.
Juan, si me permites, por favor. Guys, I want to make sure that you understand, for those students that don't understand dynamics, los matices, a crescendo looks like this. Anytime you ever see a symbol like this, the alligator mouth, there you go. That's a good one. Vamos a subir de volumen, so that means that you're going to be like, what's talking like this? I was going to play, I'm going to get louder and louder and louder and louder. That's the effect that we're going to try to do. So right now, as a section, we're going to show you together what that sounds like. Si quieres dirigirnos, I'll do it. Okay. From the beginning. Here we go. 2 beats. And 1, 2. That's good. So pay attention one more time and notice how we're going to start really, really strong, very forte. So, and when we get to that F natural, we're all going to die down, not literally die, but we're going to die down in volume and then just grow, and you're going to get, just hear the excitement in that little section. Ready? And 2, 3. Okay, awesome. Otra cosa? Okay.
Oh, that's todo.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Fun. Next.
All right, I guess I'm next. Okay, we're looking at rehearsal letter 4 or number 4 here. This next section again has slurs in it. This time they're slurred in pairs, the 8th notes, okay? So rhythmically it's not very difficult. It's ba ba da ba da 1, 2, 3 ba ba da ba da 1, 2, 3 ba ba da ba da 1, 2, 3 brum brum brum. Okay, we have something here that we may not have covered yet. And those are the grace notes. Those are the tiny little notes that you see just before number 5, 2 measures before number 5. Those notes really don't have a value. They're a starting point to fall into the note that they're tied into, okay? And I'll explain that in a little bit. But let's go back to number 4. This section is going to sound like this. I'm playing the first violin part, but regardless of what notes you have, the bowing is the same, okay? Okay? And we do have a full measure of rest between each one of those little phrases. So I'm going to ask my compañeros if we can play that all together so you can hear how all the harmony parts sound together. All right? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. Okay? Going back to the grace notes now, let's focus on that because we don't want to hear. Okay, they're not the same value as the note they're attached to, okay? You hear how short they are? We got to keep that in mind. Can we do that? Those 2 measures, guys, please? 2 before number 5, okay? 1, 2, 3. Okay, one more time. The whole phrase between number 4 and number 5. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, one more thing I want to add is when we're playing those grace notes, notice that we all did it from the frog. Okay, you have a better attack there, but it also helps you to control that short. Okay, that's my section.
Well, just a quick side note.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. I know that Juan, he's a great musician here, and we're very lucky to have him here. In English, I know we're covering a lot of the English terminology. We call them grace notes. But I also want, we want to educate you on how to properly say these things in Spanish. In Spanish, it's called an apoyatura. ¿Quieres agregar algo ahí sobre ese tema? ¿Apoyaturas?
La apoyatura.
Sí. Okay. All right, well, there you go. Just make sure, for me, one thing that I do think is important to emphasize, guys, when you're doing the grace notes, make sure you don't just cheat them off and just do it. Make sure you really, really play them clean. Like maybe a cool little exercise you can do is play them really slowly, both of them. Be very careful with that last one, you don't do an A. I know it can be a little tricky. It's from a low fourth finger, B flat, into a G. Okay, thank you very much. Next section.
All right, section 5 is me. We're going to change it up just a little bit. So we're going to hit those 16th notes. We're going to use little fast bow for that. And then we're going to retake the bow and be really aggressive with this one. So the 16th notes are going to be closer to the balance point in your bow. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that term, but if you hold your bow, it's not in the center, but it's just to the side where it would actually balance. Because if you hold in the center, the frog's heavier and it's going to tilt. So the balance point is really where you get the most sound. It's going to be just above the balance point in your bow for the 16th notes. And then straight to the frog. And I'm not sure if you remember when Joe was talking about getting a scratchy sound out of your violin. That's easy to do when you're playing aggressively. Make sure you're getting the speed on that bow so that it doesn't scratch. It's going to sound crisp, but not scratchy. Let's try that together. Yeah? Ready? 1, 2, 3. Nice. Okay, so after the 4-bar rest, we're going to change the style again a little bit. So we're going to be right in the center of your bow. We're going to use our first finger just to give a little pressure so that we feel how the rhythm goes. So if you can see, I'm just using my finger, bum, 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 just to get the feeling. Can we try that section? Just those 2 bars, please. 1, 2, 3. And are we doing a crescendo there?
We can, and actually, if you let me, Ms.
Yes, please.
Just so I don't forget, for the students at home, this goes back to the technique, because I've seen a lot of people, or a lot of teachers, pico nomás, puchen así, and it's not the proper terminology. There's a word that, my teacher taught me when I was about 14, it's pronation, and basically pronation is when, if you look at the bow hand, with the index finger, you literally, like when you were little, when they would pinch you when you were little, you pinch the bow, you pinch it, and it gives you that little grit, that weight. So when we're doing that, it's very important to apply that pronation to the stick. And basically, I don't know if can I have you as a volunteer?
Sure, yes.
Here's a little technique class. Can you hold your hand out this way, please? When you're, can you put your hand up?
Oh, yeah.
When you're playing, I want you to feel all that weight from the arm into the stick. So when you play it, all that into the stick. So now you can demonstrate that.
Together or me?
All of us together. Here. 1, 2, 3. So always remember to do that pronation. It'll give your playing, it'll score you many more points like that. Thank you.
Okay, so the last part of this section is the 16th notes, right before the first ending. I don't have a measure number there. And I want to start on a 4th finger. That way we're not doing too many string crossings when the notes are so fast. So I'm not sure if you guys have the same notes. Okay, so 1st and 2nd violin, we're going to start with, 2nd violin is going to start with 4th finger. That's the only one, the string crossing problem, I guess. So here we go. I'm playing 2nd violin, by the way. So those are just going to be real quick towards the middle of the bow. You said yes, we're doing a crescendo?
Yes, we're doing a crescendo, and just so all the viewers at home understand, she's playing 2nd violin. My compañero here, Joe, and I are playing 1st violin. And if I may, real quick, Mr. Gil, just to I don't know if you want to show them the fingerings.
Well, yeah. So
Yeah.
she was saying 4th finger. I personally also do it in 3rd position, starting with the 1st finger, because we're coming from this. And this is the part here with the 16th notes, and I stay in 3rd position, playing the pinky. So again, it's more logical to stay in that position if you're playing the 1st violin. But I mean, again, whatever works for you is always the best thing.
Awesome. And we also want to show the 3rd violin in that section. One of our 3rds, can we show that section, the 16th?
Go.
Yeah, Mr. Alvaro. All right.
I'm gonna do from measure 55, sorry, I was doing 55, let's do 53, the entire adorno. One more time.